Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 2 in our ability system series. In this tutorial series we're going over the process of creating an ability system using just blueprints. In this episode we're going to go about changing the input mode to allow us to use the mouse as well as the character controls to allow us to interact with the action bar UI. From there we're going to start work on our ability actors and their data structure, tying it to the user interface. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is set up the input mode. So I'm going to go into my third person BP. In my case, this is where it will be found. So if you're using a third person template, go to your third person game mode. Inside your game mode, you've got the event begin play building the widget. At the end of that, we're going to start setup for the input mode. So right click and get the player controller. Whenever you're working with something in input, it's something to do with the player controller typically. So from the return value there, we're going to set input mode to game and UI. This allows you to interact with the user interface as well as the player actors. From the get player controller as well, we need to show the mouse. So drag from there and go set show mouse cursor. Tick the box to be true and plug that in. Click compile and go back to your game. Now testing it, you'll find that you can control the mouse as well as the character. These are now buttons, so we can click on these later on when we add abilities to them. If I want to rotate the mouse, the camera, I'll hold down right click and turn the camera. So that's all set up. Next we're going to work on is the ability itself. So the way the ability works, we need to first of all set up a data structure to hold the details of the ability. So I'm going to go right click and go into blueprints and choose structure. I'm going to go ability details struct. And we're going to open this up. Now we're going to add a variety of details about our abilities. First of all, we're going to put in the ability name. I'm just going to write name actually, because otherwise we'll be writing ability all the time. Name, which is going to be a text, new variable, description, again text, cost, and cost is going to be a float. That's going to be how much mana it will cost to cast a spell. Next we're going to do is the cooldown time. And finally, the last float we need is cast time. We're also going to need some flags on this thing. So we need to change that to a boolean and do is interruptible. And requires target. Lastly, we need an icon to show on our user interface. This type is going to be a texture 2D. Hit save and we can close that. Next we're going to do is add the parent ability actor. So right click and go blueprint class and choose actor and call it ability. This is the root actor that the whole system works on. Everything else is a child of this one lone ability actor. So go into your ability and we're going to add our data that we just made in our struct as a variable. So go new variable and go ability details, and the variable type for this is going to be ability details struct. Hit compile, and now you can see in the default values we can change those settings. Hit save and close this. With that done, we're going to set up its children. So right click on the ability and go create child blueprint class and do ability underscore projectile. And again, right click on the ability, create child blueprint, ability underscore AOE, area of effect. Right click on ability again This one's ability buff, giving yourself a spell to improve your stats. And the last one you need is ability debuff, giving a spell on the enemy that damages them over time or makes them weaker. Now, because these are children, they also have access to that ability details. For example, if we're going to projectile, you can find in the right hand side default settings the details we can type in there. But we aren't done yet. What I want to do is I want to make a test ability that I can insert into my action slots. So I'm going to right click on the ability projectile and create a child blueprint of that. And this is how we go about creating abilities later on when we've got the whole system set up. So I'm going to go ability underscore fireball. And I'm going to make a new folder to store our projectiles. Drag that in there, keeping it organized as I go. Now this fireball we can open up, and I'm going to set the default settings for this. So I'm going to call this one fireball. Description: launch a flaming ball of hot lava towards your enemy. The cost of this is going to be a percentage of your mana. Now to do a percentage, you just do a fraction. So I'm going to do 0.1. Okay, so that's a tenth of your mana is going to be used. The cooldown for this is going to be 3 seconds. The cast time for this is going to be 3 seconds. Actually, let's make the cooldown 5 seconds, make it a little bit longer. So 5-second cooldown with a 3-second cast time. We'll make it interruptible, and it also requires a target because we're launching a ball towards the enemy. And the icon, we can choose from my icon list that I've imported in. If you have not imported in the resources I've provided, you can find a link in the description below. When we're done there, hit compile. So now that's set up, how can we assign it to our abilities? Well, if we go into our ability system UI folder and go into action bar UI, open up the action bar slot UI. So this is the individual slot that appears on the action bar. We're going to go to the graph and we're going to add a new variable to this. New variable, ability class. And this is going to be the variable type of ability. However, you want to hover over it, move it across and choose class reference. Make sure you tick instance editable and expose on spawn. Hit compile. Now we're going to use the details associated to that ability class to build the icon into our UI here. So let's rename a few things so that will be changing on this thing over time. Firstly, we want the progress bar to be named cooldown bar. The image is going to be icon image. The button is going to be ability. No, we call it cast button. There we go. The way I work is I typically put the name and then immediately after that the type of asset it is in the when I'm dealing with widgets. So it's a cast button, icon, image, cooldown, bar, and so on and so forth. And these are the only 3 things that are going to change on this thing. So I'm going to my graph, and we now need to make it so we're pulling out the details from that ability class and assigning it to our icon image in this case. So we're going to use the pre-construct for this. The pre-construct allows you to build your widget before it's constructed into the game, which means that you can actually see your results as you're editing it. It'll make sense in a second. So on your pre-construct, we're going to drag our ability class out and choose get. We're going to right click on it and choose convert to validate get. Now the reason why we're converting it to validate get is because we need to check whether or not we actually have an ability assigned to this slot. If we don't, we're going to make it blank. So first thing we need to do is determine what to do with the image, if it's valid or not valid. So drag icon image out, choose get, and we're going to set it visibility for when we're not valid. So if the ability class is not valid, we're going to change the visibility of this to hidden. Let's drag that there actually. Next, we're going to do set visibility for the top. When it is valid, make it visible. Pretty simple. Next, we need to make it so it changes the actual image. So with the ability class here, drag this down and type in get class defaults. And that'll get you all the settings that we've associated to that class, including the details. Right click on your detail struct and split the struct pin. Now we have access to all the values related to that ability, including the ability details icon. So I'm going to drag my icon image out, get. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag from the icon image and set brush from texture. This is going to belong to the isValid branch. And the texture is going to come all the way down to our icon. Click compile and we're done for this. Now one thing we made an error in, well I made an error in, is that on our cooldown bar I forgot to change its background fill. So when you go to the right hand side when you choose the cooldown bar, go to style and you'll see background image. You want to change that to border, or actually to none rather. Make sure you clear the background so you can't see nothing. Okay, so then when I compile that and go back to my action bar, I can select the first one and change its ability fireball, and you can see there it's changed the icon to represent the fireball. Hit compile and go back to your game, and there we have our fireball there and loaded. And you can see the cooldown bar by default is set to whatever value that is, so you can see it halfway down the image there. Okay, now click on it, does nothing yet, but we'll be working on that in due course. First we're going to set up is our cast bar, and then again so when we click on the item, the ability, sorry, it will begin casting, tying it with an animation. So join us in the next episode where we start work on casting our spells. If you want to watch that next episode right now, head over to patreon.com/RyanAiley, where you can watch that episode plus many other videos available to my patrons. Big thank you to all your support during this series and all the other series too. Thanks everyone, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and comment below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.